In this video, we will create two new resources for our sales quote app, a customer resource and quote resource, and show how to establish a nested relationship between the two. Create a customer resource with the title Customer and path name Customer. Drag two components for company information, a text field component labeled Company, an address component labeled Address. Take note of the API path name for the company component. We will be using it later when we establish our nested relationship. Next, create a panel component found in the Layout tab and give it the label Contact Information. Panels are used to wrap groups of fields with a title and styling. Create a text field component labeled Full Name, an email component labeled Email, and phone number component labeled Phone Number. Create your resource. Creating a resource will automatically create a form identical to the fields created within that resource. If we look at the form page, we can see the company form that was just created. Click the Preview tab and input 3 submissions into the company field. We will use these submissions later to show off how our nested resources work. Create a new resource called Quote with the API path name Quote. For styling purposes, add a panel component labeled Quote Information. To change up our layout even further, we can add columns to the form, which displays the fields side by side. Some common fields we might find in a quote form would be product type, quote date, and quantity. For the product type, use a simple text field component and give it a label. For the quote date, use the date time component, which shows a date picker when the field is clicked. For the quantity, use the number component, which has a numeric input mask along with increment arrows, which allows you to increase and decrease the number value in the field. For the last field, I want to retrieve a company name that was submitted to my customer resource. Resource components gives us the ability to do this. This component allows us to pull data from a resource object and populate that data within the field. After inputting your label for the component, select the resource you want to reference. Since the company data is in the customer resource, select Customer from the resource field. Now that we have selected the resource we want to reference, we need to tell the system what component within that resource we will be pulling from. Input the company component's path name after data found in the item template box. You can find the path name of a component by clicking the API tab within the component settings. The appropriate item template will look like this. This notation is telling the system to pull data from the company component submissions within the customer resource. Next, we can add search filtering capabilities within the search field. Again, utilize the component path name to filter what data you're searching for. You have now accomplished a very complicated process in just a couple of easy steps. To show off our work, view the quote form and click the company field. You can see the 3 nested resources we submitted earlier in the video, as well as the search filtering capabilities.